Hello, how you doing? Daniel Duwa from The Conversation with Daniel Duwa. Welcome to the show. This is not the easiest conversation, but I thought it's important to have this conversation. First of all, I feel like we're answering the wrong question. And today, our conversation is going to take a serious turn as we tackle a pressing issue that demands our attention. The increasing violence against young women is deeply troubling. We need to steer our conversation in the right direction. It's not about men against women. It's about recognizing the presence of psychopaths that threaten all of us. Let me say that again. It's not about men against women. Not all men are perpetrating this. It's the psychopaths who are threatening all of us. We need to start resisting the oversimplification. It's not about prostitution. It's about putting an end to all forms of violence. And we must refrain from generalizing. Not all men are perpetrators, just like not all women are victims. It's common knowledge that historically, the funding programs, and there's always been discussion about historical bias. NGOs will always get money for women programs. While this might be true, the donors' funding often favor women initiative, it's time to reevaluate. 60 years of Kenya as being a republic, I think we need to bridge the gaps and create a program that caters for the needs of both women and men, boys and girls, women and men. The program should be the same because even though we've had great programs and amazing programs so far, there is a sense that some of those programs are doing more harm in terms of relationship between men and women. The people who seek funding, if they know that the only way to get funding is to have a certain narrative, to have a women program, then that's what they're going to be writing for. And that's what you're going to hear in traditional media or social media or any other place. It's going to be stop killing women instead of stop killing us. And I think stop killing women may draw attention and funding, but we have to have a broadened perspective. Stop killing us. That's a pledge for the preservation of all of us, men, women, children, boys and girls, and however people identify, irrespective of gender. I think after 60 years of independence, I think we're at a point where as a nation, we can stand and say we've had great programs. And there are gaps. There are places where the programs for the girls are not up to standard. But then in the urban areas, it's the opposite. The programs for boys and young men are not up to standard. So we need to have a wider conversation, and this conversation should go beyond funding, beyond killing women, beyond stop killing men. It should be stop killing us. We need to start having the right conversation. We need to start asking the right question. Who is doing the killing? What is their profile? Because we know this. We know who are killing the people, both men and women who are doing this. So the plea is, regardless, let's start questioning the assumption and stereotypes and guide the conversation. One of the things I think we need to do is to recognize the patterns, and the patterns are very clear. Over the last 30 years, the women who are killed and the men who are killed, it's very clear within the society. And if you go to the villages and the estates, you will be told this person was killed and this is the circumstance. We kind of know what that is. For most part, the killings that we've been having in this country, and nobody should lose their lives to start with. So the people who are doing the killing for most part, and especially in the last few months, and the ones who are making rounds in the media and in social media and everywhere, those are people who have been killed by people who we can profile. We can say this is the kind of people who do the killing. These are the psychopaths. Because if you say all men hate women, all men want women dead, that is not helpful. You saw at the march, there were men who were there in support of the women. There are men who are writing checks for the programs. There are men and women who are working every day to solve this. There are law enforcers and judges and lawyers who are dealing with this every day. There are village people and town people and estate people who are dealing with this, both men and women. When something bad happens to a woman or a man, Kenyans come and say, we can't do that. And this is not a conversation about sanitizing one side or the other. There's no one side or the other. There's just one side. Stop killing us. Stop killing us. There are villages that you'll go and you won't find any men. And then there are villages you'll go there and find a woman who's killed. Let's stop the killings. Let's stop the killings. But I think it's really, really important to talk about who are these people committing this act. Justice and safety. That's what we need as all Kenyans, regardless of gender or identity. We need justice, we need to feel safe, and we need to make sure that the perpetrators of these crimes are caught, are punished, and our society is free of this evil. Now, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a politician. These are just my view. But I feel like we need to start asking the right question. This is just the platform I have. You have a different platform. Everybody has different platforms. If you're a village elder or you're a student in college or whatever it is that you do, let's start having this conversation, but let's craft this conversation in the right direction. You saw what happened at the march, a march that was supposed to be about stop killing women, disintegrated to a war between men and women. Once you make it men versus women, of course, we've lost the track. But once we go back and go like, who's doing the killings? Can we get those people? Can we make sure that our daughters, our sisters, our mothers, our brothers, our uncles, our fathers are all safe? Kenyans are safe. Then we're going to go somewhere. I speak of this because as a family, we've been a victim of this very crime. And for me, I'm coming from a point of pain, but also longing for justice. And it feels like justice doesn't get there, but I'm hopeful that justice takes time, but we get there. But beyond personal experience, we need collectively to commit to asking the right question and addressing the roots of this. For me, I think we should be thinking about stop killing us, stop the killings, and catch all the perpetrators, catch all the psychopaths, and let them get punished for the crime, and let the families get justice. I know this is not the normal conversation we have on this platform, but I think it's important to start addressing this. These are challenging times. There's so much that's happening in society. And if we don't do anything, we're just going to go worse. But more importantly, if we do the right thing the wrong way, if we ask the wrong questions, we won't get anywhere. It's not helpful when we say this is between men and women. It's not. There are men and women of goodwill, and then there are psychopaths. And we know who they are. And we have a justice system. I know there are those who say the justice system doesn't work. Then let's make it work. That's an easy proposition than to fight among each other. We need to get a sense of justice. We need to get justice. And we need to stop the killings of both men, women, children, boys and girls, or however people identify. I'm going to stop here. I don't think I have any more to say, but I am very, very well driven and inspired to go out there with you to make sure that we are having the right conversation. Thank you for listening. Go out there and have conversations about the right, which is stop the killings. Thank you very much for listening to this session of Conversation with Daniel Duwa, and hope to see you again.